The humid air of Memphis, Tennessee, hung heavy on that sweltering August 16, 1977. The city was a hive of activity, but no one could have predicted the shock that was about to rip through its streets. At 2:30 p.m., a phone call shattered the silence at Baptist Memorial Hospital. The news was surreal. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was dead at the age of 42. Fans around the world were stunned. How could the man who had single-handedly defined a generation be gone? Elvis wasn't just a singer. He was a cultural icon, a symbol of everything that was raw, rebellious, and unapologetically American. His death felt like the end of an era. Elvis Presley was born in a tiny two-room house in Tupelo, Mississippi, on January 8, 1935. His family was poor, but they were rich in spirit. Growing up, Elvis was surrounded by the sounds of gospel, blues, and country music. These influences would later blend into the unique sound that made him a legend. But his journey from poverty to stardom was far from easy. In the early 1950s, Memphis was a city of contrasts. It was a place where the Old South met the New, where the sounds of the cotton fields mingled with the rhythms of the city. Elvis, with his tousled hair and magnetic presence, was a product of this melting pot. He began his career at Sun Records, a small studio owned by Sam Phillips, a man who believed in the power of raw, unpolished talent. Phillips saw something special in Elvis, a young man who could blend the styles of black and white music in a way that no one had done before. Elvis's first hit, That's All Right, was a perfect storm of rockabilly, a genre that fused country music with the energy of rhythm and blues. The song was a sensation, and it launched Elvis into the spotlight. But it wasn't just his music that made him a star, it was his performance. On stage, Elvis was electric. He moved with a grace and intensity that captivated audiences, and his hips, those infamous hips, became the subject of both praise and controversy. As Elvis's fame grew, so did his influence. He was more than just a musician. He was a cultural force. His music spoke to a generation of young people who were breaking free from the constraints of post-war America. They were tired of the status quo and ready for something new. Elvis gave them that something. He was a symbol of rebellion, a reminder that the world could be more than black and white, but fame came at a price. As Elvis's career took off, he faced criticism from those who saw his music as a threat to traditional values. He was accused of being a pelvis and a sex symbol, terms that were used to try to diminish his impact. Despite the backlash, Elvis continued to push boundaries. He appeared on television shows, recorded hit after hit, and became a film star. His movies, like Love Me Tender and Jailhouse Rock, were box office smashes and further cemented his status as a pop culture icon. Elvis's influence extended far beyond music. He was a bridge between different worlds. In a time when racial tensions were high, Elvis brought people together. He covered songs by black artists and gave them a wider audience. He was a disciple of gospel music, a genre that had deep roots in the African American community. By blending these styles, Elvis created a new sound that was truly American. He was a unifying force, a reminder that despite our differences, we share a common heritage. As the years went by, Elvis's life became more complex. He faced personal struggles, including addiction and the pressures of fame. But even in his darkest moments, he never lost his connection to the music that had made him who he was. On that fateful day in 1977, Elvis may have left us, but his legacy lived on. His music, his spirit, and his impact on American culture continued to resonate long after his passing. In the days and weeks following his death, tributes poured in from around the world. People remembered Elvis not just as a musician, but as a true pioneer. He had helped shape a new musical idiom, one that would influence generations to come. Rock and roll would not be the same without him. It would not have the same associations, the same meanings, or the same influence on the countless musicians and young people who followed in his footsteps. Elvis Presley was more than a star. He was a symbol of a time when music could bring people together, when a simple song could change the world. His story is a reminder of the power of art and the enduring legacy of a man who dared to be different. Elvis Presley's rise to fame was not just about his music. It was about the times he lived in and the people he met. In the 1950s, Elvis was more than just a singer. He was a symbol of change. His music blended different styles, and he brought a new energy to the stage that captivated audiences. Elvis's appeal to both black and white audiences was one of the most significant aspects of his early career. Brian Ward, in his book, Just My Soul Responding, explores how Elvis's music bridged the gap between rhythm and blues and country music, creating a new sound that resonated with everyone. This was a time when racial tensions were high, and Elvis's ability to bring people together through his music was a powerful force. One of the most influential people in Elvis's life was Colonel Tom Parker, his manager. Parker was a shrewd businessman who saw the potential in Elvis and helped shape his career. However, Parker's methods were often criticized. Chester Morrison, in an article for Look magazine, suggested that Parker was more interested in making money than in nurturing Elvis's artistic growth. Despite this, Parker's decisions often paid off, and Elvis became a global superstar. Elvis's fan clubs began to form as his popularity grew. These clubs were more than just groups of admirers. They were communities that supported each other and celebrated their love for Elvis. Doss's book, Elvis Culture, delves into the world of these fan clubs, showing how they became a significant part of Elvis's legacy. Elvis's military service was a turning point in his life. When he entered the Army in 1958, many fans were worried that he would lose his edge. However, his time in the service, particularly in Germany, had a profound impact on him. He met Priscilla Beaulieu, who would later become his wife, and he continued to develop as a person and an artist. The military also provided a structured environment that helped him grow and mature. After his return from the Army, Elvis faced new challenges. The movie industry was changing, and Parker's strategy of making Elvis a matinee idol in a series of films was often criticized. However, Elvis continued to release music, and his performances, especially his 1968 comeback special, showed that he was still a powerful presence in the music world. The 1960s were a time of significant cultural change. The Beatles and other British bands were rising to prominence, and the music industry was evolving. Elvis's influence on these artists was profound. Many musicians, including the Beatles, cited Elvis as a major influence on their own music. However, as the decade progressed, Elvis's image began to shift. He was seen less as a rebellious icon and more as a matinee idol, which sometimes frustrated his fans. Elvis's personal life was also changing. He married Priscilla in 1967, and they had a daughter, Lisa Marie, in 1968. However, the pressures of fame and his relationship with Colonel Parker began to take a toll. Elvis's health and mental state deteriorated, and he struggled with addiction and stress. Despite these challenges, Elvis continued to perform and release music. His live performances in the 1970s were legendary, and he remained a beloved figure. However, his life was cut short when he died on August 16, 1977, at the age of 42. His death was a shock to the world, and it marked the end of an era. Elvis's legacy lives on through his music, his films, and the countless fans who continue to celebrate his life and career. His impact on popular culture and music is immeasurable, and he remains one of the most iconic figures in American history. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, wouldn't have been the legend he is without the support and encouragement of many people around him. His journey from a young man in Tupelo, Mississippi, to a global icon was filled with significant moments and influential figures who shaped his career and personal life. When Elvis first started, he was just another young man with a dream. He auditioned for Sam Phillips at Sun Records, and that was the beginning of everything. Sam saw something special in Elvis, a raw talent that could blend different music styles into something new and exciting. Phillips helped Elvis record his early hits, like That's All Right and Blue Suede Shoes, which catapulted him into the spotlight. Elvis's rise to fame wasn't just about his music, it was also about his performance style. His energetic and charismatic stage presence, often described as duck walking and shaking his hips, made him a sensation. This style, combined with his unique voice, captured the hearts of teenagers and made him a symbol of rebellion and freedom. But Elvis didn't do it alone. His band, the Blue Moon Boys, consisting of Scotty Moore on guitar, Bill Black on bass, and DJ Fontana on drums, was crucial in creating the sound that defined early rock and roll. They played together in live shows and recording sessions, supporting Elvis and helping him refine his sound. As Elvis's fame grew, so did the challenges. Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, played a significant role in shaping his career. Parker negotiated contracts, arranged tours, and managed Elvis's finances. While Parker's methods were sometimes controversial, he undoubtedly helped Elvis become a household name. However, Parker's control also led to tensions, especially when Elvis wanted more creative freedom. Elvis's movie career was another important aspect of his life. He starred in over 30 films, from Love Me Tender to Viva Las Vegas. These movies not only showcased his acting skills, but also provided a platform for his music. The soundtracks from these films, like Blue Hawaii and GI Blues, were popular and contributed to his success. Elvis's personal life was as complex as his professional one. He married Priscilla Beaulieu in 1967, and they had a daughter, Lisa Marie. Priscilla was a constant source of support, but their marriage faced many challenges, including Elvis's struggles with drug abuse and his demanding schedule. Despite the difficulties, Priscilla remained a significant figure in Elvis's life. Elvis's health and well-being were also major concerns. His lifestyle, including his diet and drug use, took a toll on his body. He had several health issues, including weight gain and heart problems. Despite this, he continued to perform, even during his later years, when his shows at the International Hotel in Las Vegas were legendary. Elvis's fans played a crucial role in his success. They formed fan clubs, attended his concerts, and bought his records. Their devotion was unwavering, and even after his death in 1977, his fan base continues to grow. Graceland, his home in Memphis, remains a pilgrimage site for fans from all over the world. Throughout his career, Elvis Presley was more than just a musician. He was a cultural icon who influenced music, fashion, and pop culture. His legacy continues to inspire new generations of artists and fans, ensuring that the king of rock and roll will never be forgotten. Elvis Presley, a man who started from nothing in a small town in Mississippi, became a worldwide icon. His journey through life was a roller coaster of fame, love, and loss. From his humble beginnings, singing in local churches and dreaming of stardom, Elvis transformed the music industry with his unique style and charismatic performances. His early years were marked by the support of his family, especially his mother, who believed in his talent. When he first stepped into Sun Records, it wasn't just a recording session. It was the beginning of a legend. Songs like That's All Right and Blue Suede Shoes quickly made him a household name, and his electrifying performances on television shows like The Ed Sullivan Show cemented his status as a rock and roll icon. Elvis's rise to fame was not without its challenges. The scrutiny of the media, the pressures of stardom, and the expectations of his fans often weighed heavily on him. His marriage to Priscilla and the birth of their daughter, Lisa Marie, brought joy but also added to the stress of his busy life. The 1960s saw Elvis transition into a movie star, but his true passion remained music, and he continued to release hits like Can't Help Falling in Love and In the Ghetto. Despite his success, Elvis struggled with personal demons, including drug addiction and health issues. His performances in the 1970s, particularly his return to live concerts, showed that he still had the magic that made him a star. However, his health continued to decline, and on August 16, 1977, Elvis Presley died at his home, Graceland, at the age of 42. Elvis's legacy lives on through his music, which continues to inspire new generations of artists. His impact on popular culture is immeasurable, and his life story is a reminder of the power of dreams and the price of fame. Graceland, now a museum, welcomes fans from around the world who come to pay their respects to the king of rock and roll. Elvis Presley may be gone, but his spirit and influence remain as strong as ever, a testament to a life lived with passion and intensity.